Hey everyone, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. I was just looking at the replay for the weekly collective and I noticed that love and destiny was not a part of the main spread just because I was so interested in jumping into some of the main topic questions. So I want to make sure that we give those two sections their fair share of time. So this is a supplement to the weekly collective spanning this week starting on July 6th, okay? Taking us to next Sunday, which is what, the 13th? So I'll link below the main weekly collective. Feel free to check it out. For those of you that just want to know a little bit about love and destiny, that's what we're going to talk about. So this is love messages for the week ahead. And your card that I pulled basically signifying this area was the Two of Wands. This is quite favorable actually, because with the Two of Wands, this shows that if you're trying to manifest something or create a partnership, it's a perfect week to do so. In existing relationships, this is about making plans together. And generally speaking, what you're seeking, you can find. And that was very nicely in alignment with the special topic, which was all around the High Priestess. All right, since we have some time, let's look at the three categories in the energy of love, and then we'll move on to destiny. So for love, I like to look at those currently partnered, then those that are seeking love, and finally, those who are single and happy. We got a bunch of reversals here. It's okay. We'll talk it through. All right, we're going to start off with those that are partnered first. Let me bring this to the main camera. Slow down. That was one thing that I mentioned. There could be diminishing returns if you don't take a break and take care of yourself. It's really important to do that. So existing partnerships may be like supercharged this week with special events that you have to attend, whether it's a graduation or a wedding or something of that nature. You may simply just be running on all cylinders, you and your partner. And there is a need to just sort of like have some time to yourself as well. We don't always talk about this in, a love relationship, but boundaries, personal time, and decompression, you need all of those things so that you have more to give, so that you can be with that other person. And me time is coming up, and definitely make room for that. Also, just simplicity. So rather than like spinning your wheels, going a bunch of different places, this could be a week where you simply want to spend some time together and make it simple, make it easy, rent a movie, make dinner at home, spend time with your family or your friends or something of that nature. Less is more. And before you can even do anything with the partner, there might also be an understanding that you have to take care of yourself first. In communication, this is a much different message, and it could be that the other party is not not being present and communicating in the way that you need or want. They may be going through their own thing and they're withdrawn. Give them the space that they need in that situation. If, however, they walk away or shut down communication, it's important to address that. So if it's more than self-care and it's more like crickets or ignoring you or walking out, then wait until everything is neutral and then have a conversation that isn't great, because it really does cause more problems than it solves. So there may be a desire not to argue, but if you don't discuss things at all, it sometimes can put more of a wrinkle in it. Mostly I'm seeing this as a week for self-care, taking it easy and keeping the plans light. For those of you that have just come off of a holiday or a vacation or something of that nature, this makes sense. Sometimes you need to recover after something like that. So the only thing that I'm seeing again is maybe like a breakdown or a slowdown in communication as well. So take your time to get back to that place where you're able to share your heart, share your thoughts, and you'll be able to get through that in the long run. Before we move on, the Two of Wands in relationships is also very powerful for making future plans. So it's showing the partner that you see a future with them. Say, hey, by the way, I know you talked about this. I see this event happening. Do you want to book some tickets? Do you want to do this? And if things are a little bit slow this week, this can help create a spark, because that's what fire does. So ask how they're doing, check in on future plans, make some plans. You want to see a movie? Do you want to have let's plan it out, make a plan. That's actually really helpful for the other party because they may be exhausted. Even just hey, can I book you an appointment at the spa or this chiropractor? Or if you don't have the budget to do so, make that at the home space. Just sort of say hey, I'm taking care of dinner tonight. Go take a nap. I'm going to do this for you. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It's the energy, it's the intent, it's the effort that is going to go the distance, and it's showing them that you care. Let's move on to single and looking. We have air sign energy coming forth, so there may be a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius coming through. The Page of Swords in reverse, which is saying, watch what you say. So if you have a first date or if you're chatting with someone on an app or online, listen more than you speak, ask questions. If you say too much or do most of the talking, that could create a little bit of an imbalance. So I think it's really important to have equal amounts of talking and listening. And the flip side is true. If you go out on a date with someone and they just talk the whole time, but they haven't taken 1 minute to just sort of ask you how you're doing, ask you about your life, that is also very telling. It's going to be a busy week, even though we're looking at love and relationships. The Page of Swords in reverse is saying there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown in relationships because your attention may be in work. You may have a lot going through your mind, and it may be difficult even to sort of like clearly organize thoughts when you do have a date. So slow down, much like we just talked about with those in a relationship. Less is more, both in communication and in the frequency of meeting this week. Take care of yourself and listen more than you speak. Here's one thing that's fascinating if you've ever done this in a conversation. If you simply hold some space while the other person's talking, take a couple breaths before asking the question or piping in, sometimes they'll keep talking. They may have more to say. And the pause is actually quite refreshing sometimes, just if you're listening and really showing that you're attentive, but someone may have something that they need to say too. And this is a flip side of what we were talking about earlier. So let's say maybe there's a close friend or family member. You may have to ask a couple of times how they're doing and then just really give them a chance to fully finish. And you can even say, wow, that's really fascinating. I'd love to hear some more. Or how, what's going on? Tell me more. You can add that to it and see if they do, because it feels like there's more to learn if you're capable of doing that. Again, I noticed that this is a busy week for many of us. So this is a tool you can use if you have the time and patience, especially if you're trying to get a better understanding of someone, even someone at work, because that might also yield some sort of new opportunity or perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have. So here's an interesting thing that came through before we move on to the next category. Two of Wands is dreaming, planning, creative energy. So if you wanted to learn something in this week, maybe you're going to decide to go and listen to a speaker somewhere, or take a class, or do something in the world that just is inspiring or educational or somehow expanding your knowledge and experiences. You could meet someone while you're engaged with that. Any of those activities for personal development and enrichment could be sort of like the catalyst and the connecting energy that will help you find the person that you might be looking for. Okay, let's move on to single and happy. I think it's kind of a perfect time to be single and happy, but let's break it down. We have Page of Wands here, and what I was just talking about nicely ties into this. This page is feeling a little bit uninspired, and is looking for a new spark, looking for a new idea, maybe sometimes even overthinking things here. So the rest energy is kind of effective and helpful for all of us, but take a break, make some room for yourself this week, and then you either feel it or you don't. Whatever you decide to put your energy into, if you're dragging yourself there, maybe there's a better choice for you. Whether it's learning or exercise or social engagements, if it's more of this again, there must be a better way to approach it. So that's kind of the gift there. Find something that is intriguing, fun, enriching, engaging. This week in particular, you'll be more successful at it. And it does feel like intellectual energy. It's about the mind. It doesn't have to necessarily involve learning, but at least consciousness or expansion or development. That's where the energy is taking you, okay? And the Two of Wands is very forward thinking. So you may also be looking at, how can I get to that next part of my life? There might be something that you have to set up in the next week or two or month or two to help you get to that end goal. So this can be a week where you get very tactical, okay? Now let's take a look at Destiny, which is a sneak peek into what comes after this week. So what you got this week was a self-care energy, the Ace of Cups in reverse. I believe it came through elsewhere in the reading. And like I said earlier, and even if it didn't, I'm going to repeat it here. In order to get this cup upright, self-care is the most important thing. So if you have been feeling heightened emotions, if you've been dealing with a lot at work or in your family, find a support network in your life that you can plug into, whether it's virtual or actual, whether it's a professional or a friend, it doesn't matter. Just find something that gives you a place where you can channel and decompress. The hummingbird is one of the most powerful totems for me personally because it represents higher energy, basically. Think of how quickly they move. It also represents the ability to drink in the moment. And that's literally what this hummingbird is doing. So there's a bigger message here, which is really take a moment to take it all in. We are, I think, not everybody, but a lot of the planet at the moment fixates on what's happening, fixates on where they want to go, also focuses on mistakes in the past, but very rarely are they present and enjoying something about today. If we keep pushing fast forward, we're eventually at the end and we don't know how we got there. Don't fast forward. Take some time to drink in this moment right here, right now, even if it's just during this reading. And I'm glad that we took a couple of minutes to cover those cards before I decided to do the Aries reading, which I'm going to do next. So I was like, no, I pulled the cards. I have to deliver the messages for the people that need it. So this is a supplementary reading to the Weekly Collective. I just wanted to show up and give you what you needed. So thank you for being patient. Apologies for, there's just so much that comes through sometimes in a main reading. I don't think I've ever skipped it in a live before. So once I found out that I did that, I was like, okay, we'll just do this. Everything happens for a reason. And for whatever reason, I think these particular messages wanted their own sort of space. So I gave them that. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, check out the main Weekly Collective reading, which will walk you through so much more, including a special topic around manifestation. Join me on social so you never miss out on any future readings. I appreciate your support there. You can go to my website if you ever need to find traditional links. By the way, on social, it's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. You can also give back a little bit if you'd like to, if you enjoyed the fact that I went back and did this. You can give a super sticker. You can become a member. These help the channel grow, and I appreciate it. And thank you again for being amazing. Take care of yourselves. I got another reading to record right now, so I'm going to get back to work. Enjoy what's left of the week and weekend. And until I see you again, much love and light.